All right, what is good? You are amazing and here. That's good. You are level 250 Angelic Buster, correct?
Correct.
And you are doing Hard Lucid, Hard Will now?
So I have a group that has been practicing hard lucid.
Mm-hmm.
Have not we recently we were doing normal will, and that was pretty easy, just learning the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
One of our team members' PC died, so we are on a temporary hiatus, and I'm one of the weaker party members. So I'm just thinking like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what should, I'm trying to get organized with all my gear because you probably saw I have a lot of crap thrown in there, trying to get organized and figure out what are the next most optimal things to focus on,
Mm-hmm.
because I know there's a lot of things still left to improve, but
Sure.
I'm not one of those players that meso farms for like 30 hours a week. I'm lucky if I do like 2 hours, um, and then weekly bosses. So my income
Mm-hmm.
isn't huge,
Okay.
and it's just like, where's the most efficient place to be spending my money
Okay.
and progressing the account?
Sure. All right. Yeah, I always try to take like what you already have and see moving from here to wherever we want to go, what makes the most sense. That is generally my approach. Yeah, and yeah, but that's good to know. Okay, and how have you been doing it so far? You have like one PC and then just using the totems, or?
So I did play. I was a 2 PC farmer
Mm-hmm.
until the last kitchen change, and now I've been making a Kana farmer just for when I have the time to sit down and farm for half hour or whatever.
Yeah, and then you
So
don't have to
my
commit totems and
right.
yeah.
So my 225 Kana, I guess 227 now, has about 5 bill of cubes on it, waiting for DMT,
Mm-hmm.
and will be Arcana ready once if we get a DMT before those cubes expire.
Yeah,
Um,
DMT lol. Yeah.
Otherwise, often most of it was farming on my Angelic Buster though.
Mm-hmm. Just training and then making money while you're training.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then a lot of it came from bossing because I've been playing on Reboot since day one,
Okay.
and just farming the weekly bosses or whatever since then.
Yeah. Back when they still dropped actual bags of money and stuff, and Mezzo obtained
Right.
help for bossing.
When it was
Way
a
back.
decent income.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And you could do Zakum twice a day on mules, so you can level them up and for Legion faster and stuff.
Oh, I remember when they were doing the 2x Meso events, I would just spam run Zakum on all my characters.
Yeah.
That was the way to Meso farm.
It wasn't. I think you got like 4 or 5. No, I think you got like between 4 and 5 mil for a double run usually, but then on double and on all your characters combined, it actually became a decent amount.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, true. That was almost. Yeah, that was like a viable thing. But yeah, things have changed a little bit over time.
Right.
Used to be a thing. Yeah, they used to drop bags. That's why when all of my my old mules have like epic interoperability with 8 or 9% Mesoptane, just because I was running Zakum on them all the time, and I wanted to get a little bit more money out of all of them. That's why they tend to have like one line of epic Mesoptane. Okay, and so are you kind of falling into like the lull of 250, where you kind of just training starts getting different and slower?
Yeah. Like, there's no point to really leveling right now. And part of it too is I'm trying to find direction with what do I want to do, because while I am hard lucid ready, so that's kind of just practicing that and doing that is the next thing. But it's like, well, what's next? I could throw 100 bill trying to get 22-star equips, or I could just make another character, and that's kind of what you do. Is the
Yeah.
not the amount of money you have to put in or the time to put in to make minimalistic gains is
At a certain point, it gets very expensive for a small increase versus how much you could make a new account, like completely, basically catch up to your main character with the same amount of money that you would spend on your main account, getting it like 3% stronger or something. Yeah, that is definitely something you have to make up for yourself what you want to do there. I don't think either one of those is bad or worse or better than the other. It just, it's just personal preference.
I think there's still room for decent improvement here if everything is 17-star Absol is decent. I wouldn't say decently easy to upgrade, but it's reasonable. I'm not pushing for like 22-star anything actually.
Yeah, that is. People usually say like 21 is free, 22 is nightmare.
Right.
Tends to come down to that quite often.
I have those two.
Yeah.
Oh, I just have those 2 21-star items, and then I was like, "Whoop, I'm out of money. There's no reason to try anymore."
Yeah. I think I saw way at the bottom that your Legion is like quite big as well.
Yeah, I think I've gotten like 15 levels since 6,800. So the next realistic goal is 7K. Okay, so one big problem I have is my crit rate is scuffed because my inner ability. So I don't have that 20% crit line that I'm supposed to have. So I'm trying to. Part of it is I need to get that 20% crit line, because. Okay, there's a lot of issues that come together into one.
Yeah. The further you go into the game, it's a big puzzle of everything together, and then one kind of significant piece in the inner ability being missing makes all the other parts having to overcompensate for that lack.
Yeah, because I have to, so right now I have to use, what is it, roll of the dice or loaded dice. I have to use that for crit rate to get 97% crit rate.
I see, and that's with your links as well.
With links and everything, I hit 97. So I was thinking of trying to squeeze in a couple of, because right now I have it in attack percent, partly because it just filled in with the recent few levels that I've been getting. I want to probably fill in the crit rate on the Legion board, I would guess, until I hit 100% crit rate, fix the inner ability, and then go boss damage. Something like that.
Yeah, that sounds. So I'm just looking at your Legion right now because you don't have many Dex users. That's like a pro and a con, of course. We got like 1, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 13, 3, 16, 17, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 12. You could end up with 12% in your crit rate from your Legion board. How much does the 4 dice give you? Is that 10 or 15%?
Let me check.
I think it's 15, but I'm not 100%
I believe
sure.
it's 15. I'm at 80. Yeah, it's 15. 15 from loaded dice.
15, 12. So you're missing 3, then you'd be missing 6.
Oh, I have one extra block since the screenshots because I got the Adelta 200.
Okay, and that's a. Oh, okay, so. So that would be a block of 3 extra, probably, right? Or a block of 4. Yeah. So 3 to compensate, and then you're still short on 3.
Maybe what I should really focus on is to get that last 3%. I could get my Beast Tamer. I hit Beast Tamer Link skill level 3. That would be 3% crit rate.
That'd be 3, yeah. It. And your Night Lord Marksman, where are those at? Are those level 200?
Night Lord and Marksman are not. They are 140. They're in the 140 category.
Yeah, crit rate soul is something that you can do like temporarily, but you don't want to like rely on that because it's an RNG roll, and then you don't want to throw away a bunch of magnificent souls just to get critical rate on your inner ability. It's something that when you have it and you want to keep the soul that you can build around, but it's kind of like a last ditch effort that can help you figure it out. And it would make more sense on something like a Kana or something that has a really horrible crit rate rather than Angelic Buster is low, but it's not insanely low.
Right.
Something because the crit rate it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that would only be 1%. Yeah, level 3 Beast Tamer would be that would be a good ditch because so what I'm thinking of with your Legion now is if you if you rearrange it to make it so that you don't have that extra block on the top left there, and you don't have you don't have the space, at least, well, when I'm looking at the picture now, so your actual situation might be a little bit different, but like don't have the block there in intellect, the thief block, and just don't have anything in your dex and attack, and you only use attack as a horizontal line to connect between critical damage and critical rate, so like 1 hex higher than where it is now. And then you make the triangle that's like on the opposite side of where attack is, you make that one dex as you horizontally move through that one, and then into critical rate. With the extra P's, if my maths are correct, you should be able to move 15 points into crit rate by only just having like a flat line in attack and a flat line in dex. And then that 15 would offset your dice roll, and you would already be able to roll attack there instead. But then you would still be 3% shy of the 100%, so then you would still need the Beast Tamer level 3 link.
Yeah. Okay. So that would be, I would put Dex where MP currently is.
Yeah.
And keep attack where attack is.
I would put attack where intellect
attack
is.
where int is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then move. Yeah, you probably have to move around quite some pieces. The top left probably has a square there now, so you probably have to move some pieces around as well.
Yeah.
Well, the benefit is, though, that you have the full grid, so it's never going to... Once you have the borders properly assigned with and filled with items, it'll never... You know, the field will never get bigger. You'll just get more pieces to pile on into different areas.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of your final moves, so to speak, yeah, for your pieces.
Well, until I get these characters on the left to 200.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so I think that'll fix the crit rate problem, and then I just need to roll the.
Yeah, then if you roll.
ability.
Yeah, then if you roll the inner ability, you can unequip the Phantom Link.
Right.
And they'll just, you know, that's just a 1-to-1 trade, and then you can just go into whatever is the next best damage link instead. And that's like then that's a very clean transition in the fact that you don't have to redo hyperstats, you don't have to redo Legion and move stuff around. It's just unlink link, and then that's it.
Okay.
That'll make that switch way cleaner, yeah.
Cool.
You have like a bunch of backups. What do you have? 5 thieves. When is this? Oh no, it's just from scrolling. Okay, never mind.
I think part of it might be from scrolling.
Yeah. I was like, why do you
I
have
might
5?
have done some poor screenshots.
Yeah, well, yeah, you start at the top, so then you end up at the bottom.
Yeah, the leftover.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You do have 2 phantoms though, right? 2 phantoms.
I do have
DAs?
2. Yeah, I have 2 D. So the phantoms were, one was a Terra burn.
2 arcs. Yeah.
Yeah, it has to do with a lot of Terra burning events or whatever.
I see. Yeah, you already have a 140, and then you get them to 200 instead. Yeah.
Right.
It makes sense for those classes as well, because the level 3 link is very good. So you would want to push him past 200, and then best opportunity to do that is a Terra burn. So.
Yeah. So I end up getting lazy around 200 and never finishing. Well.
Never.
Okay.
It's gonna make it. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna make a joke about finishing, but maybe that's for another time. Evolving.
Maybe when the raid viewers aren't still here.
Yeah. Maybe yeah. When we don't have too much to prove still. Let's see.
Legion effects of the same class don't stack in the grid. Sorry, I have. Never mind.
Yeah, so if you're trying to, so for Legion, you can put multiple characters in, and their member bonus. So that's your question, right? Can you like double tap in the member bonus? You can't. The member bonus will only apply once per type of class. You can get the grid bonus. You can put multiple in, but only one of them will get the member bonus. Okay, I clicked this before to zoom in, and now I can't do that anymore. Thank you, Imgur. I did that. What? You saw me do the thing, right, guys?
Did you right-click it in?
No, I clicked it and it like zoomed, but now it just doesn't do it. Okay, well that's cool, I guess. I love technology, especially when I change nothing and then it responds differently. Programmer's nightmare. Okay. All right. So crit rate, Legion. Yes. You do also have 4 points in Dex. 1, 2, 4, 8. 15 points. And 19. Brings you to 34. That could put your critical rate from 7 to 8, right?
And that's 2% crit rate.
Yeah.
From 7 to 8.
Which could close the gap even further until you get the Beast Tamer. And then if you get one extra character to 200, that gets one extra hex. If you make sure that that character is on the right side, on the top right, already in critical rate, then that'll fill it up already.
I should be getting one more hex also in the next day or so because of the AFK thing.
True.
So that my jet will hit 200.
Mm-hmm. And that'll be an extra crit damage as well. 2 extra, actually, I guess, right? Jet. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So that's 2% crit damage and 1% critical rate for you then.
Sweet.
Sweet.
I get that taken care of.
Yeah. So if you make sure that the jet is in the top right, so that it has the room to grow, you know, into the critical rate sphere, then that'll make a lot of sense for you. Okay, that seems like a good point. Okay. Yeah, and then the legendary invulnerability. You know how to go about the invulnerability, right? Because I see you're already saving up honor experience.
I have a ton right now. It took me about 2 million honor XP to get that attack speed +1 line back in the day.
Ouch. Yeah.
So I think now I'm at the point if miracle circulators go on sale, I'll get the 20% crit rate and then lock that on a second line, and then roll again until I have attack speed +1.
Yep.
And hopefully looking for a third line of boss.
Yeah, that last line is always just like wishful thinking. It's probably not going to happen, but you know, if it does, that would be cool. But the odds, I think I've rolled collectively about 6.5 mil honor experience during 50% offs on both my between my DA and my marksman. Try to get any kind of crit rate on the third because they both have attack speed +1 and then 21 attack and then no crit. And I haven't seen a single line of crit ever, like any percent on any of them.
Yeah.
So rolling the Circulator 4 crit is like what I advise everyone. If you need the crit, roll that with Circs, please. Like don't be like, oh, 21 attack, that's also a good line. Yeah, it's nice, but it makes everything else like fall apart if you stick with the 21 attack. Like the critical rate is so much more of a fundamental base block of your house of cards than 21 attack is.
Right.
Like later in the game, 21 attack is just like 1 extra star on an item, whereas 20% critical rate is completely like uncomparable. Like you can't get that amount of crit from anywhere else. Or yeah, you get that from the link skill, but then that goes at the expense of another link skill that's way better than 21 attack. So it's just always a bad trade. Yeah. Well, the only thing I would have to say about that is make sure you don't wait forever for a circulator sale because we haven't had one in a long time, and I don't know if they're just completely axing them or if it's been an oversight or something. But I think it's been like a year plus since we had one at this point. So
it has been a long time.
It might be an off event thing even to do, but not the actual re-rolling to the attack speed, of course. Afterwards, you definitely those seem to be still on the table at some point. So you could, if you have a decent amount of money now, you could think about if there's a 50% off, then just rolling before so that when the 50% off hits, you can immediately re-roll and maybe get it on the same day and don't have to go a while without the extra rank of attack speed. Because, yeah, you know as well as anyone, for the people at home who don't, if you jumble between your levels of attack speed too much, your flow of how you play the game changes completely. Like if you're used to a certain rank of attack speed and then you like lose a rank or you gain a rank, you'll start dying to stuff in bosses that you usually never die to just because you're just used to your muscle memory just starts kicking in there and then starts kind of overriding.
And this class in particular is not good without the attack speed.
Yeah, it's kind of like on the level of Cannoneer or
Right, you get locked into your skills for way too long.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll consider doing that next time that we have the 50% honor off.
Hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday, hopefully we get the announcement for the Sunny Sundays, and then maybe that can help you come up with a plan. Yeah, Legion in general, like as long as you're still working on Legion, then I have good hopes for that. You know about the grid, and you already have most of the characters, so you know where the gains are to be made, and you're keeping on track with the events, with the AFK stuff and everything, so I don't feel like I have to explain anything else there.
Sweet, thank you.
Links are connected. And links are connected with that, of course. Let me just see, which ones were you using on the AB?
Let's see, that is my... I think it's a little... Okay, let me check what I actually have right now.
Judgment.
I think this is my bossing set of links.
Yep. Bossing links, yeah. So the focus spirit will go up to level 3. Souls level 3, spirit freedom 8, 6 bossing 10. So the one move that you probably want to work towards is moving elementalism in favor of the 3-stack explorer mage. So that you get that extra IED in. I don't know how much non-visual IED you have, but you were at 89 visual, right? So
it's without familiars. I don't have enough. I do know that.
Yeah. You have the 20. Like, do you have any passive hypers that give you some?
Hypers.
I think you have
Let's
a
see. So
debuff
I have
that gives,
on. So Trinity. I have all of. I don't have any of the IED hypers in. The other ones are just too. I could take a point out of, like, Trinity's damage plus 20% for 20% IED there. But that's about the only one that I could afford to take off.
What do you know about what, like, your functional IED is, or do you just usually
did a calculation a long time ago, but I don't think it's accurate anymore. I was at 92, but this was back when I had familiars and when I had like 15k less stat. So I should probably use that again.
Well, if you have an 89 visual now, then even the 20% from your boost nodes will already take you to almost 92.
Right.
Then if you add the 9% from the Explorer Mage, that should already get you at 92. But it might be a good idea, at least until, to boost your damage, at least until, well, familiars are literally supposed to be back in 3 days, so maybe not now. But it might be worth looking into getting, because you have a decent amount of damage and boss damage combined, right? To trade that one out for IED instead. Because later on in the game, and you could try that even with the dummy, right? Just to see if it makes any kind of difference by just resetting them. Because I think it's like 10 mil to reset, so it's not a huge amount of money either. To double check if that actually makes a difference for your damage at all. If it doesn't, then it's whatever. But if it does, that could be nice. Because IED is one of the things, especially on those bosses that have 300% PDR, where you pretty much want to keep stacking until you get to like 97 functional.
Right. I do need to get that. I know my IED is a huge problem right now with that 300% PDR. So I need to get a third Explorer Mage then. Yeah. I think test that Link Skull out.
Put the stacks in. Because, well, so basically with every percentage, if you're at 90%, like with every percentage of functional IED you gain 3% final damage.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they have 300% PDR, right? So you get 3% less damage reduction for every percent. Yeah.
So that's probably about a 10% damage versus, what, like a little over 1%.
It's maybe even more than that. Hang on. So if you have, let's say you have 90% IED on a 300% PDR boss, that means that there's still... so you reduce 270, so they still have 30% reduction, so you deal 70% of your damage, right? And if you go to 91, then you ignore 273, so you have 27% reduced, so you deal 73% of your damage. But so you don't deal 3% final damage, you go from 70% of your damage to 73, so it's 3% of 70, not 3% of 100%.
Yeah.
So it's
probably closer to 4.
It's like a 20. Yeah, it's like 4.5 almost, right? So that's why it keeps being so good, and that's why having more IED in the beginning it seems wasted, because it kind of is, because the bosses don't have much PDR, so it's like whatever, you just brute force through them with boss damage and our reboot damage bonus, right? But after a while, the IED actually starts getting really, really important. But of course, we're gonna not like overcommit to any of that, but having those basics like of the Mage Link and making sure that your hyperstat is at 10, that kind of stuff. once familiars come in, you do have to like reorganize that. But the hyper skills add 20% basically on your main skills. Because I don't know, does Trinity have any like built-in IED or something?
Let me check.
Because some attacks do.
It has built-in 15%.
15%, okay. Because some attacks have like 30. Yeah.
That might be visible IED though.
If it says it's specifically on the skill, then it is invisible, because if your visible can only take into account something that always works. So if it's like a passive force job skill or something, then it's visible. But if it's on on one skill by itself that has innate IED, then it's invisible.
Okay, so yeah, that's 15%.
Okay, and that's your skill that you use like 95% of the time, right?
Correct. Though I think it accounts for probably 55 to 60% of our damage because of the Soul Seekers. Triggering.
Mm-hmm. And the, what is it, like the little purple pink
orbs.
dragon lady?
Yeah. It's slapping them with the balls. The purple balls.
Oh yeah, and then the pink breath that does
right.
If it's hopefully facing the wrong way, the right way.
Well, so that's a 5th job.
Yeah, that 5th job. Yeah, that
breath.
Yeah, the dragon. Yeah. And the balls, they don't have any like innate IED or something.
No.
Okay, so the 15 does help a bit there. It's unfortunate that it's only 15. Like some skills have 30 built in. That's always like a nice chunk. So if 89 visible, and then you hit the 20 from the boost nodes, 15 innate, and then if you get the if you would get the 20 from the hyper skill, then you get like 292, 8, 1.5, 1.2, 93. I think then functionally you'll get like just over 94, I think. Maybe like 94 and a half, something like that. I don't know, the 89 could be rounded as well, so I want to be careful with like taking the 89 at face value. That could be 89.8 and it could be like 88.999. Like I don't know exactly what that number is. That's why you want to throw it in a calculator, right? Because the computer can tell you exactly how much it will go up to. But yeah, once with familiars there, I don't know if you've already made some familiars and you have some that you can already have access to once they come back, or...
Well, I did. I probably logged about 200, and I lost them all.
Ah, cool.
To the whatever it was. I think I have...
Random rerolls and stuff?
Yeah, so I have 2,000 Oda Warriors stored up, so...
Ooh.
Hopefully that'll be enough.
Nope. Hopefully, well, they might fix Oda Warriors because of the nature of the game, but like in JMS, they made Oda Warriors rare instead of epic.
Oof.
Yep, oof.
Well, I'll have to make my junior boogies last then, which
yeah.
probably would also go to being rare.
I'll have to see what they do. I'm guessing is they're going to implement as much from... I'm guessing first they used us as a test case, then us went to shit, so then they did like, okay, what would we implement as a change for JMS, and then JMS became our test case again. And I think JMS is in an okay place where they wanted it to be, so I'm guessing we're going to basically get like a copy of JMS, is what I'm guessing, but most of the stuff that gets implemented in JMS, we get like a slightly nerfed version of that again. Remember with the Sengoku skill, right? When that came out first in JMS, we saw those numbers and everyone was like, what the fuck? And then they were tweaked down quite a bit. Same with the the kind of rework numbers. So we'll have to wait and see. Of course, it's like a little bit spitballing, but
yeah, I'll deal with familiars when that happens.
Yeah, when that happens. But yeah, you already know, like, but just don't like super overcommit to anything, especially with the functionality of boss damage and IED. So with the crit rate, you can do all of that because crit rate, even on familiars, at most you can get like a 7% line somewhere, which can help you close the gap, of course, between some things. But you're never going to be aiming for that because a line of IED or a line of boss damage will be so much more valuable. So yeah, that's just an afterthought at that point. As long as you have a decent idea of like, this is how much this stat is worth in my hyperstats, this is how much this stat is worth in my legion, right? If you have that, or this is how much that stat is worth in my potential, right? As long as you have that general awareness, then you can kind of see a line of stat of useful stat for what it is, not just necessarily strength dex, but for like, you know, because in the hyper stat it's like 15%, and then 30%, and then your legion it's like half here, and then a full one here. You know, there's like a different exchange rate in the different systems, kind of.
Yeah.
That's what makes the puzzling interesting, but also a little bit more convoluted, I guess.
Right. I mean, it makes it too, when you get to this point in the game, there's still something to be thinking about.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it's not super straightforward. Yeah.
It's a math puzzle. That's really what this game comes down to later.
Yep. For sure. And it's a little bit different for everyone.
Right. I think throwing this in the calculator, like now that I'm at this point, is probably smart.
Yeah, because that's why I asked in the beginning as well, like, are you going to plan on like leveling more and stuff? And if you know that you're not going to be leveling that much, at least not in the near future, then once you have the familiars, just throwing everything into a calculator, it's probably going to be a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I want to push for 255 or not. It's kind of like, well, so I still don't have an arcane weapon because I'm only at 150 droplets, so I really want to be training in Arcana or Morass.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, is it really worth even training for 255 at those zones?
Well, you do have the Kana coming in soon, right?
Yeah, so my Kana, I'll be able to Kana farm. That's kind of why I made it, because I'm thinking like I need those droplets anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, is the benefit from hitting 255 or even like every single level after 250? Because you still get stat and hyper stat.
Yeah, stat, hyper stat, matrix slots.
D-matrix.
Yeah. And matrix slot levels and actual slots as well in the matrix. Yeah. I think it is worth, but only if you like, if that's something you enjoy doing. For a lot of people, it's like, okay, I want to be able to participate in Hard Lucid and Hard Will and be able to carry my own weight, and that's all fine. And then I don't really need that other level. And then, you know, in the meantime, if I feel like, okay, the party gets, you know, it gets very good at this, we can clear these bosses very easily. We want to try doing the harder bosses, and everyone's like, come on, let's all get to 255 and do the harder bosses. And then you're like, oh yeah, then I want to join that too. If you really have the desire to level at some point, you know, you'll have the totems and everything available because you're probably not using them on too many other things. Because I assume that you still use the secondary computer Kana to just a Kishin for Legion and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So like 50% uptime Kishin.
Yeah, it's still better than nothing. So.
Right. I haven't stripped it yet and tried to do any of that foot pedal or whatever people are doing now.
Yeah, that's mostly in the higher level areas, right? In the lower level areas, even if you completely strip it, it'll still one-shot the monster, so it's not super efficient there. Okay, I see reinforced earrings with 40% mezzo. But yeah, that's kind of like the backlog info. Yeah, so you're not sure of like super overcommitting, or like super committing, I guess. You're afraid a little bit of overcommitting, which is understandable. And you're using you have like 2.5 trill BA now?
Yeah, so that's about where, that's like doing a very standard BA. I could probably get up to 3 trill or over 3 trill if I did the like cheese BA. Because we have a 5th job skill that has a chance to bypass all cooldowns.
Mm-hmm.
So you use that, you charge up your burst, and then you pop your burst right at the start of BA and get like an extra trill damage. In
case it triggers, then.
Right.
I see.
But I feel like I've been trying to study up on my BA, but I feel like for how much stat I have in the class I'm playing, that number is lower than it should be.
Yeah, because Angelic Buster is supposed to have some pretty decent to borderline broken BA, right?
Right.
Wait, I see. Do you play on like high ping? Because I know that Trinity damage can lack a little bit if your ping is somewhat higher.
So I don't. I'm playing like West Coast US, so the ping isn't bad.
Okay.
Plus, one of our skills overrides all. So for 30 seconds, you have basically pingless Trinity.
Okay. That's almost a full BA then, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You've checked with like other Angelic Busters and something, and there's nothing that you really feel like you're doing wrong. So it's got to be a gear and account thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Is like comparing my stat and where I'm at to a lot of others. I think I have a lot of inflated. I wouldn't say inflated decks because of symbols, but my symbols are decent. Like I see some others that have the same stats as me, but they're also like 700 Arcane Force. So that's just like a bunch of stat with no attack coming in from like stars, because I only have the, what is it, 4, 8. I have 10 stars past 17 right now. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
10 stars past 17? What do you mean by that?
So like I have 2 21 star items, 1 19 star item, and then the rest are all just 17 starred.
Okay. That could be part of it. I mean, you've no doubt seen that when you're star forcing items, how much extra stat but mainly weapon attack you start gaining, right, at those higher numbers.
Right.
And it gets kind of ridiculous if you just do the maths in your head to get every single item. Because I'm on my hero now, which ironically has some 20-star Abzo stuff. It's like your shoe gives 26 attack, and mine gives 65. So that's like 40 attack extra per Abzo item that's not 20 yet, for example.
Right.
That's 4 items, 40 attack, that's 160. That's like using 1.5 apples like all the time. If it's 5 items, that's 200 attack. That's 2 full apple buffs, plus all the extra stat that comes with it, right? Where's my shoes? Right. 2, because the flame is 224. And then yours is like a 76 flame or something, if I remember correctly. Oh, 95. Oh, we got net dex, yeah, 95. Like 181. This is like 40 stat. Yeah, 40 stat, 40 attack. That's 200 stat, 200 attack. That ends up being like a huge chunk. But yeah, what I always say, it's never like just one thing that you change. It's always a combination of a bunch of things.
Right.
So it's about finding that balance and seeing where we can tweak the most. It does definitely feel sour if you have those 24% decks with like 2 prime lands and you got to re-roll that.
Yeah, I was thinking 24% like double prime line or 3 line with 1% all stat was kind of where I was aiming for on cubes. Because I figured out like 24% and then 20 stars and then probably 3 line stat, like 3 solid lines of stat, and then pushing past 20 stars.
Yeah, 20. Well, past 20 or at 20?
Well, so if you're at 20, I guess it depends. If you're really looking for, if everything was like 1299 lines and all your gear was at 20 stars, that's when I would say go 21. Or at least that was my thought process.
Yeah, no, that sounds,
I just did the CRA to 21 because it was easy.
Yeah, you have so many backups, right? You don't have to safeguard, so you can just power through it.
Yeah.
All right, so the thing that you said you were going to be working on mainly is like your rings, right?
Yeah, so I have a lot. So I need to reorganize my rings because I currently am using a Vengeful ring and a Synergy ring for damage.
Because it has like 30%.
Right. So I have a bunch of backup. I have a bunch of Meister rings. Planning to get a 17-star legendary potential Meister ring. I was thinking of making another reinforced ring because I have a double. Actually, no, I could just recube my reinforced ring.
It's like double mezzo or something?
So I have my solid ring is double drop.
Oh, yeah, okay. And no Star Force? Oh no, that was cracked or something, right?
Yeah, I just have a random legendary cracked ring with no Star Force because that was an old drop ring.
I see. Oh yeah, double drop on a solid, yeah.
So I think I need to change out the 2 event rings, probably for Reinforced and Meister.
Reinforced and Meister, yeah, that sounds about right.
I guess I could actually just recube the reinforced ring. For some reason, I thought my reinforced was the double drop line, but it's not.
One line and like 1.5 decks right now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I could re-roll that, and then if I need drop gear, just use the cracked ring.
Do you have like more primals? What kind of Star Force would you be aiming for in the Meister?
So I do have. Let's see. I think I have more primals. So I could craft more. I just made 6 and then I got lazy. I think I have 3 or 4 more primals.
Mm-hmm.
So if money wasn't an issue, I would ideally be pushing for like 20 stars or 21 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. How many primals do I have? I have 2 more primals.
But you're not Meister anymore?
I'm currently not Meister. I have a lot of backup mats to get there though.
Okay. Yeah, to push back for 2 extra. Well, 2 extra might be the difference between like hitting it.
I think if we get another no boom event, like a no boom plus 5, 10, 15 or no boom plus 30% off, then I would push for Meister at that point and
for sure, yeah.
Craft.
So that KMS gets one this winter.
Right. Are they getting one?
Hopefully. Well, this summer they're not getting one, so we have to wait at least a year.
I mean, I'm fine with that. Just save up a bunch of money for then.
True. Yeah, you already mentioned you're not too shy of it, just like waiting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Well, anyways.
Coins.
So fixing the, I think, but for now, I want to get that 17-star Meister ring, and then I'll use them. I guess use the Meister and the reinforced ring for damage, and I could just re-roll the Vengeful and Synergy rings.
Mm-hmm. For drop, yeah. What's your other accessory situation like? Because you're using 5-set Superior now, right?
Yeah, so I have 5-set Superior for damage. I guess drop gear and meso gear doesn't matter all that much. If I'm training, it's 100% meso and 160 drop, or if I'm bossing, 220 drop.
Okay. And have you given any thought to like either the to like the Dominator Pennant into the Sweetwater Pennant?
So I've given it thought. I've been trying to get Dominator Pendant drops.
Mm-hmm.
I have some recipes, so I've been considering crafting it, and that's something that I would do next. I have my Pap Mark transposed Sweetwater Monocle, so that was kind of the next project that I had. Don't blame me for bad flame, but
is that in here?
Yeah, I believe it is. It should be further down. It's only 15 stars right now. Into epic.
This one. Okay.
I spent so much money and never saw anything above 50 flame score, and I finally got like a 90 some flame, like a low 90 flame score, and I just said screw it.
1688 is what you had.
Yeah. Plus the strength. The strength helps a little bit.
And the strength was 40. So 88 and 40 is like roughly 92 flame score, yeah. Okay.
So some people might flame me for that, but...
Yeah, but they also don't have a Papulatus mark yet, so...
Fair enough. I got my Pap mark on my 3rd run, so... And then it's been a year since then and I haven't seen another, but that's to be expected.
Yeah, somebody... you know Doofalicious in the chat, right? You've probably seen him.
Yeah.
He spent like 70 bill on flames on his Papulatus mark to get something useful. Because he was like aiming for... I think he was aiming for 118 or something. And the only thing he saw in that 70 bill was like a 112, I think. And everything else was like below, like just at or below 100. And then he ended up settling for like a 116, I think. Because he was like, well, it's not in the cards for me, so I guess I should be settling at this point.
Yeah, I think... so I spent 10 months of weekly boss flames on it and event eternal flames. So I probably threw 200 rainbow flames at it.
Yeah.
And several hundred, like 600-700 red flames.
Yeah, sometimes it just be like that.
Right.
And then, might be suboptimal, but I mean, it's still a huge flame for a Sweetwater.
Right.
Because you have one that's like 1-line and 2-line dex, right? That you're using now.
Right. So my actual damage gear, it's 23% dex and 20% meso.
And then your other one as well, right? Your tattoo, yeah.
Yeah, my tattoo is double line dex, but they're no prime line.
Oh yeah, and meso, yeah. Okay.
And meso. So
12.
I mean, so a realistic upgrade would be to roll over my drop gear tattoo and go for at least 26% dex.
Yeah, the beauty about having 2 of these is that you can just, select one to be damage, and then if it gets better than the other one, if you roll like 2 lines of something, then you just hold on to that and then re-roll the other one. It's that's always the benefit of having them be interchangeable like that. So that could be a good idea, but I think in the order of a little bit of cubing first is probably an okay idea. I mean, star forcing the hat is definitely possible, right? To get it like at the same place as the other ones.
Right. Though I probably won't do that until we have a good event.
Well, the other thing is, of course, like if you get to the weapon, then you might want to switch that to the Abso hat, right? To keep your set bonus.
Yeah. Especially when we start running hard lucid again, if I get a drop.
Yeah. Well, but at that point, you can also transfer hammer, and then you just have a 20-star Abso hat, so...
It's true.
That would be whatever. That wouldn't really be a downgrade. It'd still be an upgrade, so it's whatever. So you're like slowly flaming all the other stuff just with boss drop flames kind of on a side?
Yeah, so right now I think the main thing I'm flaming is the pink bean cup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not super happy with my pink bean cup.
I saw 2 of them, right? One with like 76 and one with like 50 something with some attack.
So the 76 deck, so there's one with 76 and 24 secondary stat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's worse than the 56 main stat. So 56 dex, 48 strength, and 5 attack.
Yeah, that's because of your Star Force, yeah. As your Star Force goes up, the value of your attack will go down, and then they'll probably like start equalizing.
Yeah, so I'm currently just rolling a 3rd pink bean holy cup.
Yep.
Or pink bean, whatever it is.
Yeah, and
to try to get a better.
And like fusing them when you get more.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's like a slope. Yeah, I've thrown so many flames at my cup. I ended up with I think I had a 48 and 6 for the longest time, which is pretty good, of course. Okay. But compared to all my other stuff, it was like the first thing on the chopping block to get improved. And I think I ended up settling for 104, which is eventually gave me like, I don't know, like 3,000 more range or something. And now it's or 102 or 104, and that's where I'm sitting at right now with the with my arc. And it's not been a good time either. It's kind of like your Papulatus mark on that level. Yeah. But yeah, the higher you go, of course, like the odds of improving go down by so much that at a certain point it gets a little bit ridiculous to keep throwing money at something. I almost want to throw it at your 4th or 5th character to just get good flames and all of that.
Right.
To make sure that guy could do some weeklies, make some money for your account rather than getting 3 more stat on your main on something. It's like, ugh.
That 3 stat is going to make the difference between you clearing the boss or not.
Yeah, like all of the monsters are getting 1 shot, like the bosses are taking the exact same amount of time, yeah. Like the big upgrades would be like switching it to full arcane and that kind of stuff, but that's like a whole turnover of how you play the game, or you have to actually get lucky and get drops, but it seems like none of those 2 things are in my future, but... yeah, so the cracked ring is like an option, but I think you have more than enough rings at this point, right? So you don't really need to move into that one at all? No.
I guess aside from the Holy Cup, do you have any ideas what the next thing... Like, what are the worst or the easiest to upgrade flame?
Flame?
Like, I know some of my superior items have some pretty crummy flames, but those are also not that easy to get a good flame on.
Oh yeah, you mean this? Yeah, the accessories. Yeah, no, that's true.
Right.
Like your belt, your belt could be better. Is that tier for your weapon? Is that a tier 5?
I think that's tier 5. I think that's tier. Okay,
yeah.
That's 62 out of 154. Yeah. I thought it was So that's a 40.2%.
But your
I
attack,
thought it was a 6.
God damn, attack is low on soul shooters. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Some poverty tier numbers. 62. Wait, do I have the wrong number here? Oh, flame advantage. Yeah, it's a tier 7. Damn. Okay. Tier 6. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
Tier 6
if it was
with
a tier 7, I
5% damage. Yeah. My mom actually hit a tier 7 on her Hayato's Abzo.
Oh.
Yeah. And she's only mobs, so she doesn't even care about all the other lines, so it's like perfect for her. Yeah, like, yeah, it's a bit min-maxy, I guess, if it's a tier 6, but one thing would be, like, to try to trade out the damage line for a boss line instead, because it, like, doubles up on your percentages. That way you can also feel a lot better when you switch out your current secondary for the Princess No one, that you get more lines of attack and kind of, like, let go of the boss damage completely.
Yeah.
Because getting way more attack there is going to increase your damage by a lot as well, especially because one of your lines now is 20%, which is kind of like half a line, really.
Yeah.
It's of course not something you initially want to roll over when you're just rolling in the beginning, right? Like I have a 20% line on my secondary on my DA that I got, like, I think I got 4 cubes from unique to legendary, and then on the very first cube on legendary I rolled a 21 attack with a 20 boss, and that's been the potential since forever. Like that's not something you just like circle back to very quickly to roll over.
Right.
Yeah. But like you have 35 on the one line, right, and 20 on the other one, so you have 55 in 2 lines. And they could be like 40 and 30.
Well, so I am going to fix my secondary.
Yeah.
I have an evolving secondary.
Yeah,
that's
sorry,
actually best in slot.
I said Princess No, but I meant the evolving, because I saw it. Yeah.
So I'm probably looking for 3 lines attack.
Yeah.
Or two lines attack and 1 line decent line of boss.
1 line boss, yeah, it's probably what you're gonna end up with. Yeah, like 21 and 30, or 21 and 35, or anything, or 40 and 18, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if I hit an IED line and 2 good attack lines, I'd consider it. I don't know if.
Yeah, what was your emblem again? 21 and 9 damage, right?
21 9 damage, so that does need to be re-rolled.
Yeah. Well, eventually, yeah. It took me quite a long time on my arc to actually also get to that point to re-roll that. Because I think that's like an average of 30 bill on sail cubes to get that to 3-line attack.
Right.
And then for your weapon, the average is like 80 or something ridiculous like that. So.
That's why I've kind of been hesitant to touch my WSE, like the weapon secondary or emblem, for quite some time.
No,
I just don't have that kind of income.
No, for sure. Yeah, I think I had the same income as same potential as your emblem on mine for like a long time. It wasn't until I got like 20-star Abzo and 21-star Abzo actually, and everything else, and a few other 22 stars, and pretty much everything like 2.5 to 3 line before I started touching that.
Yeah,
it's very expensive. Yeah,
I would almost consider rolling for double crit damage.
Yeah, rolling. Well, you have 23% dex.
I have 23 and 8, which is about equivalent. So
it would still be an upgrade, but
dex.
Yeah, not as much.
I don't even know if it's an upgrade actually, because we have so much crit damage on Angelic Buster.
That is true, but
like
even on a marksman or something, you keep stacking that. Even though in vicious shot you have over 200%, I think even then, like 8% crit damage, I think, is still equivalent to like 30 to 35% stat, I think. If I remember the numbers correctly.
Because I thought in general it was like crit damage, or 8% crit damage was about 30% stat.
Okay.
I could be wrong though.
Well, hopefully the circulator, Jesus, the calculator will be able to shed some light on that, right?
Right.
But with you having the crit situation at least like sorted out, that'll already take a lot of weight off of that. Yeah, so definitely attack on its secondary. Ring switch, get your Meister. Reinforced, switch those rings out. And then, yeah, I mean, keep fishing for that Dominator, because the Dominator, and then transposing with, your favorite thing, flaming the pendant. Because you're going to be... Eventually, you want to get higher Star Force as well on your superior stuff. And you're gonna need like all the possible backups that you can get for your pendants as well, which is gonna be way harder now to get backup pendants, right? You're gonna have to buy all of them.
Yeah.
That almost puts it at a point where maybe you want to get like super high Star Force Dominator, like a second one, and then just transfer hammer it over and try it that way instead, or like a reinforced, but the reinforced you'd have to buy as well, so that's like out of the question, I guess. Sorry.
I don't have any. I have the one reinforced backup as a pendant, which is currently drop gear. I don't have any other backups.
Oh, and it's already in your drop gear. That's unfortunate.
I mean, I could always roll out of it. It's not a huge deal.
Yeah, you could roll. You could roll one of your current damage superiors into the drop rate then instead, and then use try to Star Force the reinforce to see if you could transfer hammer it into the existing one, and then re-roll if it succeeds.
Yeah.
That would be an option, because you're not gonna have a bunch of backup dominators anytime soon. You do have a lot of drop rate though, so I'm kind of surprised you don't have already a dominator, or have you just not been running Arc very much?
I mean, so I was running Arc. I've probably done 70 to 80 boss runs. I don't run them daily, but I'm not very lucky with drops. I feel like when I have my drop gear on, my drop rate's actually lower than when I go with 0% drop.
Says the guy who got his Papulatus mark in his third run.
Yeah, but I wasn't wearing drop gear.
Actually, I carried my mom on Damien so she could get the pieces for her Hayato for her weapon, and the run was like faster than normal. I didn't understand, but I was apparently in damage gear the whole time instead of in my 200% plus drop gear, and then she ended up getting 3 drops from normal Damien, which is like usually you get 1 or 2 like with drop rate gear on, and then I was in damage gear, and then she gets 3, of course, and it's like, okay, well, there goes that whole theory out the window. But yeah.
So I have the theory that drop rate actually doesn't do anything, but
well, you need like a lot of hours and a lot of attempts to really over time see the numbers, and you do see people with a lot of drop rate who farm a lot who just get, like, they have the droplets to back that up.
Right. I see it on droplets for sure.
Yeah.
It's bossing that's...
Yeah, for bossing it's always a little bit weird because, yeah. There's just so few instances, even if you do it on many characters over long periods of time, I still feel like there's a huge room for deviation from the norm.
Right. I guess I should check how many...
So for the weapon you need 24 coins, right? No, 12 coins. Wait, how does it work again?
For the arcane?
Yeah.
So I need 216 droplets, and I'm at 155.
Right, it's 9, yeah.
I know there's an event coming. I think it came to Camus where we get 50 droplets.
Yeah, you could buy it from the store. They had well, it was their anniversary event.
Yeah.
So that'll be next year for us as well. Like
it's
May.
A long ways off, though.
Yeah, long ways off. We just had ours, yeah. So it's gonna be 11 months or something away. Yep.
So I guess going back to the Dominator pendant, is it worth trying to craft those from the recipes or just wait for drops?
Since you have so much drop rate, I would wait for drops.
Okay.
It's 5 primals to craft, and that could really cut into your potential for how high you can go on your Meister rings, especially since we don't have no boom rooms in the foreseeable future.
Right. Okay. So...
But I think that switch is going to be a good one for you, because you'll be introducing a boss flame where there's a non-boss flame now. You won't be losing any kind of set bonus.
Right.
And it's not like you have a 30, like, it's not like both of your pendants right now are 30% or anything that you have to, like, compensate for. They're still only, quote-unquote, what is it, 21 all, and then 24, right? So that should be easy to replace, especially since it's a level 160 item. Should very easily be able to get to 23, or maybe even, like, a 33. Yeah, 33. And then the extra stat as well from your Eye in Your Face, once you get those, like, dedicated to damage, not like a little bit half and half like they are now, combined with the upgrade of the ring, with the updates of your Legion, and then you don't don't forget that with the rearrangement of your Legion and your like your grid and leveling up the Beast Hammer, you open up the 5 dice roll, which is that one is 10% damage, right?
I'll check. It is 20% damage.
20% damage. Oh, yeah. See, there we go. So that's already like a 20% damage buff just by rearranging your stuff there. Which that is basically making your third potential line become a 40% damage line, right?
Right.
On your secondary, and then re-rolling that new secondary and aiming more for attack. Yeah, after that there's like 2 major things that you can do. So it's either going to be just like mass red cubing and just trying to hit those 3 lines before you touch your emblem or your weapon, right? So it would be just your secondary and then just your regular gear to try to hit those 3 lines. Or like 2.5, right? You know, with like a 6% all set line or a 7% all set line if it's if it's 160 plus. Prioritizing like your items with low variance, so like your badge and your heart, right? Because those have less junk lines.
Yeah. The badge is, I think, done. I'm not touching that again.
Yeah, it's like 30 already though, right?
Right.
Yeah, with the 10 all. Yeah, that's probably what you end up aiming for. But like the heart is missing 2 of those lines, so there it would be worth to touch back on that.
Rolling.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely not going to be like one thing that fixes this for you. It's like a whole bunch of things. And then the other major option is pushing past 17 stars on your stuff. Your cape is great, of course. The potential is amazing. So and the flame is already quite good as well. So you probably don't want to do the whole thing where you transfer hammer with this one. So you probably have to keep doing your weeklies and make sure that you have backup Absolute capes in case you blow it up. So you can keep buying them from the Lotus shop, right?
Right.
For the other items that aren't 3-line yet, so for your glove, you could kind of argue the same because it's like 100 flame. It's got 8 and 23. Going for the 2-line crit is probably also an upgrade that is at the same level there. But black cubes they can be unforgiving. But the beautiful thing is, of course, if you throw a bunch of bills and black cubes at this and you don't get it, you're still left with exactly the glove you have now. So there's a way smaller downside to that upgrade. Or if you're just like throwing mass red cubes at everything and you get unlucky on the last item, which you probably will, then one item gets cucked. But if you're doing 6 items at once, 5 of them get upgraded, 1 gets a little bit downgraded, that compensates. But if you're just doing that on one item, you want to have that backup and being able to rely on it. The shoulders
would probably be
26.
boot and shoulder first, or shoulder then boot then glove if I'm going to do that.
Yeah, that sounds about the right order because your shoe is at 26. Yeah, they both got those double primes. Makes them like a little bit in between the like fall in between. It almost feels like the Demon Avenger potential where you sell for double primes a lot because you have no percentage all stat line that you can rely on, so you're kind of forced to do it this way to settle for these.
Right.
And then the only way to push beyond it is go for like full 3-line and just mass red cube. And then the other thing is like finding backups and doing the transfer hammer thing, right? So I don't know if you've been doing Ranmaru the whole time, if you have some shoulders backed up.
I do not.
Oh, yeah.
Though, does Magnus, the 140 Magnus shoulder, does that go 20 star?
140. Magnus is 120 as far as I know.
120?
Cygnus,
I thought there was a 140
Cygnus
shoulder.
has a 140 shoulder.
Okay,
And Meister is also 140.
Okay. Because you could do a double transfer hammer there.
Yeah, if you had 1 and you make Meister shoulders, you could do that. Or if you still have the Commercy shoulder, there's also 150. You could use that as an in-between. You
one red Murray shoulder.
You could. Meister shoulders, you need the orbs, the Dreamstones from Cygnus to make.
No primals?
No primals. That's like the special resource is the Dreamstone from Cygnus. But then of course you need the Grand Spell Essences and the Twisted Times and the Philosopher's Stones. So make sure you don't.
Okay.
Yeah, those can be a bottleneck in crafting Meisters. So I don't know how many you have of those.
Let's see. 5,000 twisted times, 400 philosophers. Philosophers are easy though, just to
Yeah,
craft.
you can build those up faster. But your grand spell essences, those tend to be kind of tricky to.
That's true. It might really down to only 300.
It's only like 2 crafts, I think, for Meister rings. But you already have a bunch of your Meister rings made, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm only at 300.
I don't remember. So wait, how much is it to make one?
Let me see.
Accessory crafting.
Meister rings cost 150.
Oh yeah.
Grand spell essence, so it would be. Yeah, so I could make 2 more. So I guess I don't want to go that route if I'm going to be starved for grand spell essence.
Yeah. The thing though with the shoulders is that they're pretty rare. It's like one of those things where if you start early, you can just build up a bank and then get to it. Oh, the shoulders are only 100 grand spell essences, so they're a bit cheaper. I made a few of these for my DA, and then I blew up 2 of them trying to go from 20 to 21. So the third one I got to 20, I decided to keep it at 20 and say fuck it, I don't need that extra star. I was about done with blowing those up.
I guess I should do Ranmaru.
Yeah, definitely add it to
Daily
the daily
again.
rotation because it also has the best chance of dropping double flames as well of all the bosses in the game. So even on multiple characters, maybe add it to your rotation.
Yeah.
Just for the general flame income and drops cubes every now and then can be nice to fund your accounts with. And it's a short boss fight, no pre-quest, that kind of stuff. So it's like a pretty accessible boss. It does like huge chunks of damage though, so you have enough HP. You gotta have like enough HP to survive those hits. But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty accessible boss.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll add that to the daily list.
Yep. The laundry list of dailies.
All right.
Yeah, so for shoes, you could just get the root shoes, right? That's pretty easy.
Right.
And the beautiful thing about that is you don't have to clog your inventory with shit items until the events roll around, so that's beautiful. For earrings, you can make like, yeah, so you would do like master... right now the earrings drop, so you probably just save up reinforced earrings.
Yeah, I have a bunch of spared reinforced.
Yep.
I wouldn't say a bunch. I have 4.
Well, that's a decent... Well, that could be already enough, right, to get 1 to 21. The average boom is probably only like 2 or so. So,
right.
that should be fine. And then it's just a matter of waiting until a 5, 10, 15, right? So you minimize the booms while still being able to get pretty far. And yeah, it depends on how you want to aim. I think the jump to getting 150s to 21 and then transferring into 20, I think that's a good solid aim to have for now. And then just work your way back to backups, work your way back up to funds to back it up, and then try to jump from 20 to 21. Because it is quote-unquote free, but of course not literally. But for a bunch of your items, it will be free, hopefully. Unless you get super unlucky. And then you'll be able to make like a huge upgrade with only the cost of having to try a few times from 20 to 21. And then 1 or 2 items will definitely blow up, and then you'll have to remake. But... you know, even if you just only get back up to like 17, losing those 4 stars there, but gaining that extra star on those other characters, that'll like compensate so you don't really go down again. So that's kind of what you want to do, is do like collective upgrading so that if one item doesn't make it, the other ones pick up the slack that one item lost, basically.
Right. And so I would be like taking those to take everything to 21, transfer hammer it at 20, and then try to get that back to 21, and just praying for no boom.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that like immediately. You could do that in steps, right?
Yeah.
Especially that last step. Yeah, because in case it booms, and you want to work your way back up with backups, like let's say the shoulder does blow up again from like 20 to 21, well, and then you have no Ramarus to back it up again, well, then you're kind of fucked. Then you're going to be, do you make like an extra shoulder and then just get stuck with like a 12-star shoulder for a long time? Yeah, that's going to be pretty tricky. You don't want to downgrade from 20 to 12. That's going to be a little bit ouch. Hopefully at that point, though, everyone in the party gets stronger as well, and just one character being you, having one item being your shoulder, being weaker, shouldn't be the difference between the run succeeding and failing anymore, right? And you'll have more arcane power and everything, and even while you're training, you'll still be able to one-shot monsters. So it's going to be more a mental thing than a functional thing more than anything, but yeah.
Sure. I guess, yeah, that approach is just... I just have to wrap my head around the whole approach, because I'm used to thinking, okay, if I'm upgrading these pieces of gear, go 1 star at a time, hit 18, okay, hit 19.
You could do that as well.
But if you're transfer hammering, that's...
Yeah.
You can't really do that with transfer.
Then you can't really do that,
all
no.
At once or not at all.
No. Yeah. So you got to find out what could work for you. If you're like more slowly making money and you don't have the capacity to really have, oh, there's an event, I'll just dimp into my 45 build that I have laying around and just get a few items to 21. Like if that's just not in the cards ever, then going 1 star at a time might be more efficient for you. But that does mean that you'll have to do your weeklies on multiple characters like all the time to make sure that you have plenty of backups for your Absolab that you can buy.
Right.
That's going to be the flip side. So you still have the option, of course. You can still do both. I'm not saying that one is better, one is worse. It is possible that the second one works better for you if you have more of the long term, just like safe, more safe vision. Honestly, yeah, that could work for you too. But you'll always have to be waiting until 5, 10, 15s either way.
Right.
Yeah.
And hopefully a 5, 10, 15 no boom coming in a year.
That would be really, really nice. Yeah, looking back on it, it's not quite as good, but did you see the Maple Sea event?
The Maple... Okay, that was the most OP thing in existence, though. The double chance to tier up all the way to
half the time and half the chance to boom. Yeah.
Like it was like the average cost of a 22-star equip was less than a 17-star. Or something like that.
Yeah, I saw like a video of like 6 minutes of somebody getting like full 17-star arcane, completely did 22 without any booms, barely any fails, within like 8 bill or something.
Maple Sea's on its last leg. I'm sure they just wanted to milk any money they could.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, sure, you have to get the buff for it, and it's only to last for like 10 minutes, but Jesus, yeah. Their exchange rate on their meso market went like crazy. Oh, I mean, rightfully so, but holy fuck, it completely disrupts the entire economy during that. But apparently the event lasts a month too. It's not like a, like a 1-2 day thing in a week or something. Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Well, and the economy is permanently ruined.
Yeah, for sure. Because someone who already had that stuff before, the value of their items is just cut in like 4 now. Yeah. Right,
and it's gonna be so much cheaper just to buy a 22-star training piece of gear than to actually get your own 17-star gear. Because people were just like, it's like, why not just upgrade everything you can?
Yeah, or if you have a drop, you might as well just Star Force that drop to 22 and then just sit on it for a while until, maybe the event is over and they just sell it for way more later. So
right,
those are going to come into the market in like a month and a half. Those are going to start popping up. Just like full 22-star, yeah. Yeah, that would really... It kind of... Yeah, I wasn't really considering that, but some people did mention that they're just trying to, like, not have to shut it down and just trying to make people feel super, super strong. Because I think that's what they did with MapleStory 2, right? Like, the last few weeks, they just gave people, like, 500% experience and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Just as kind of like a final hurrah. I mean, I hope it doesn't shut down, because I know there's, like, a lot of people playing there. And I'd like them to be able to keep playing, but, it does kind of feel like that. Dude, I had no idea that the base attack of Soul Shooters was this low. Holy fuck!
That's
154.
The price we pay for crit damage. That's part of why I really want, like, pushing for Arcane is. I feel like, I mean, it's a big deal for every class, but it goes up so much.
Well, more for you, right? Because you have Overdrive, right?
Yeah.
And Overdrive scales off of your weapon's base attack.
See, where is the Soul Shooter in the shop? Oh, there it is. Yeah, 221 base for Arcane.
Yeah, that's massive for you.
Like, that's
like an extra flame on it. Just doubling up.
It's more than it's more than a tier 6 flame.
Yeah. So like my weapon, my Absolab axe on my warrior has 197 base and then 79 flame, and then 129 from starring it to 20.
So you're sitting at 405. I'm at 297.
Yeah, and so yours would be 221 base, so that's 24 extra, and then because of the tier, so you're gonna be looking at like 440 probably. Well, you won't get it to 20 stars, so you'll lose some there.
Right.
So, but you will be definitely
like
over 400 attack. Yeah.
Gotta farm those droplets.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if you already have 20-star Abzo or something, it's like, the Arcane isn't going to be a huge upgrade anyway. But if you have 17-star Abzo, then yeah, switching that for an Arcane is a huge upgrade.
Well, it's like I don't think I'm gonna touch this weapon ever again.
No.
Like, I think no flames, no Star Force, no cubing. It's just gonna stay as it is.
No, it makes sense. Work on the other Abzo pieces instead, and then switch this one out for Arcane, because you are already like a long way there, and you got the Kana coming in soon. So, but yeah, I would. Yeah, just like with leveling, I think it's good to just keep leveling as long as it's fun for you. Definitely make use of like big events. If there's like a whole day double experience or something, it makes no sense to play your Kana at all, right? Because you don't want to have to like suicide it. Well, I mean, depending on what level it is at that point, maybe you want to level it now to get to the point where you don't have to suicide it anymore. Or when you can start suiciding because you have the level. But yeah, or if there's a whole day double drop, then you just dip into the Kana, that kind of thing. Or if all the maps for your Kana are full, then you might as well go on the AB instead, right. And you probably make a decent amount of money still, right? When you're
yeah. My rates are like, with, I think I make around 500 clean.
Because of those balls flying around, right?
Right. So, and that's without one-shotting.
Yep. Once they one-shot, it gets pretty nasty from what I heard.
Right. Not even close to being able to one-shot and drop gear though.
No, that's gonna be like 21 star Abzo that you need as a backup for that, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Let's see.
Yeah, just keep flaming on the side, I guess. But you're already doing that, so I think you got a decent plan for that.
Other than the pink, other than the pink Holy Cup, are there any, I guess, of the damage items in particular that are really need a reroll aside from that belt? The 2% is pretty crummy on the belt flame.
I think your CRA could, like your pants was like what, 76?
76.
Yeah, at this point you probably want to be aiming towards like 90-ish on CRA and like 100-ish on Abzo is probably what you want to be aiming for.
Okay.
Flame score wise. And hopefully you roll just a few percentage all stats in there, because now you're mainly relying on full stat.
Yeah.
Because you don't have 3-line stuff yet, that means that percentage stat is still like comparatively more valuable for you in your flame as well. So that'll help you a lot with just the range and the damage output. But yeah, something like your pants potential, that's like, that
needs to be fixed.
It needs to, but there's like a lot of other stuff you can work on first. Because even if you got to legendary, like what would be the best thing you aim for is probably like 24, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking for a 3% upgrade, but it needs a tier up as well. Whereas, I mean, on your shoes, you'd be looking for like 26 to like 30%. You're looking like a 4% upgrade, but it doesn't need to be tiered up, so it's a cheaper thing to do, right?
Right.
So that's just, that's the way I want to look at it, basically. And for your accessories, have slightly a better chance of rolling better lines. So the earring, you're looking for 3% upgrade there as well, at least.
Yeah.
But that one's also cheaper. So the pants it's definitely on the list, but it's pretty far down, honestly. Okay. It looks shitty because it's unique, but I mean, who cares? It's the numbers in the potential that matter, right? And it's how much it's going to cost to upgrade. That's what matters. Honestly, there's probably people who just go without legendary who might be stronger than you, right? If they go like 21 star gear and everything is like unique 3-lined, they might do more damage than you. But then then who the fuck cares that it's unique, right? They'll do more damage.
That's true. It's just staring you in the face.
It's like the only unique item too, right? Everything's nice and green, and then there's that one yellow guy like, hey, look at me. Yeah, but again, that's a mental thing. But I feel like you got the mental thing down, you know?
Right. I don't have I mean, the whole mental thing, the fact that I still have 5 bill of cubes on my character from DMT, what was that, 3 weeks ago? It's like, I can hold out.
Yeah, like 3 weekends. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that'll win in the end, but you know, sometimes it takes a while to get to the end. Yeah, DMT. I wonder what that compensation is gonna be.
Let's give us 24-hour DMT or something. I don't know.
They really should just do. I really don't know why they don't do that. Just like one whole day, so it gets spread out.
Because they don't have the code for it.
Yeah, I guess so. It's not a
That's
copy
probably
paste
what it
thing.
is.
Yeah.
Right.
Can't just copy paste it from KMS.
They could copy paste the miracle time, but then people would complain again.
Remember when there was a event that went wrong in KMS, and we knew that it was gonna go wrong for us as well, and they also knew that it was gonna go wrong, but they just already had to copy pasted the compensation from KMS, and they copy pasted that as well right after. Like it was less work to just also copy paste the compensation than to fix the actual event for us.
I'm trying to remember what event that was. I remember that, but I don't.
Which one was it?
That sounds extremely familiar. I'm just not able to remember.
Was it like a relay? No. No, it was the no boom room or something. It was like a no boom room ending early, I think.
Oh yeah, or I think was it I think no boom room plus 30% day or something like that. And one of the two ended early. I
Yeah,
think.
one of the two ended early, which made it not be able to overlap or something.
Right.
It was something ending early. I'm like 99% sure, but what was it? I think there was a no boom room at the time, but if it was about the no boom room or not, I don't remember 100%. But something ended early, which made us unable to participate in something that was actually already announced, and that was like kind of the whole focal point of the event. And instead of instead of fixing that, they just copy pasted the compensation. And then I think the compensation also went wrong, and we had to get compensation for the compensation. If I'm might be making that up, but I'm pretty sure that also happened.
I mean, that's what's happening now, is it not?
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening now. So it's not even like pulling it out of thin air. It's
Right.
there's definitely a precedent now. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So definitely some decision making also on your part. Like if you want to go like the 1x1 Star Force, or if you want to do the backup thing. So 1x1 with backup of Abzo, or full on transfer hammer for some, but then with backups for shoulders. So it's possible that you go like, okay, I'm going to go Madman Rimuru shoulders. I'm just going to build up a bunch of those, try to get it to 21, and then maybe like 3 months from now you have like one shoulder and you're like, well, fuck this. I've done a bunch of Dark World Tree and Lotus weeklies, so I'm just going to do that instead because this is taking too long. Like, yeah. Or you try the one shoulder during a 5, 10, 15 and it blows up at like 18 or something, and you're like, well, what? There goes all my prep. Like,
Right.
yeah. At some point, all the preparation in the world sometimes can't beat the RNG in this game. So.
Yeah. I think splitting it up and trying to just like, I have a better vision now of what the different paths are, because
yeah.
So just trying to decide on what that is and follow that.
Yeah, and yeah, well, what I was just trying to say is like sometimes even the path that you decide on can still get you can still get knocked off of that path by RNG. Yeah.
I mean, nothing in this game is set in stone except for Legion.
Yep, and that it's gonna shut down at some point. And that's
true.
And that maintenance is gonna be extended. But apart from that, yeah. No, yeah, but yeah, if you know the other paths, then you know if you get knocked off of your path, then you know which other one that leads you to immediately. So yeah, that can save you time of like, okay, we're going back to the drawing board because you already have it laid out. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and one thing, are you working on the Monster Parker medal? Monster Parker 7
I'm not. I probably should.
Because there's IED there as well, which is really nice.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm even close on that one. That's what, 77 days?
Yeah, at least 11 weeks, but you probably already have some progress on there, so.
Yeah, that's not per account, that's per character.
Per character, yes. You have to do the full 77 on each day per character, yes.
I'll have to check on that. That's
one more for the daily list.
On my dailies.
You probably have like the Sundays done or something, right? Because of the experience coupons, and maybe Saturday because it also has a chance.
I think I might actually have a lot of progress towards it because I didn't train up until level 200. I only did Monster Park and Horntail.
I see. Yeah, you might be at like 50 something for all the days, and you might get it in like 3 weeks. It's possible.
Right.
Because I think I was on my errand the other day, because I've been getting it on a bunch of characters, and on my errand I was going through my quest and I found the progress, and I think it was like between 30 and 50 something clears on every day there already. So I was like, oh shit, I'm already like over halfway. It's pretty nuts. I thought I maybe did it like, you know, like 7 or 14, you know, like 1 week long or maybe 2 weeks long on a few characters, but yeah, sometimes, you know, it's like finding $10 in a pair of pants you haven't worn in a while or something.
I've done it far fewer times than I thought I did.
Okay, never mind.
So I've got...
You found a bill in one of your pants.
Yeah.
Negative. Okay.
I found a single meso.
A single meso, yeah.
That's something I'll consider starting to work towards. That's a long ways off, though.
Yep. It can be a quick daily, though, with good results at the end of the other side of the rainbow.
Right. I guess I'm paying reward points as well for that, but right now we have a ton, so it's not a big issue.
For Monster Park?
Yeah, isn't it for the if you want to do 7 runs?
No, that's for Maple Tour.
Maple Tour.
So for Monster Park, you use the extra coupons that you either buy for 3.5 mil in the cash shop, or you get them with Maple with reward points.
Okay, so
in the reward shop, yeah. I think you can buy 20 a month. Yeah, 20 a month, I think. Yeah.
Oof.
But you probably want to save those for the totem. So yeah, it's like 3.5 mil each, so 5 a day is like 17.5 mil. So in a week, that's like a little over 100. But I mean, that's
not bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
If I actually did my Maple Tour, that would make up for it.
Yeah, exactly. So Maple Tour is the other one that goes on the list, I guess.
It's just kind of like, if I do Maple Tour, why not just sit down and farm for 5 minutes?
Yeah. Well, so if you run your Maple Tour in like a minute per run, which is, I think, doable if you're like, you know, kind of going fast, not like slacking, then you're basically getting a rate of 2 bill an hour.
Right.
But you're only getting it for 2 minutes a day. So that's like the downside, but then the upside is, you know, and you can, you know, you can squeeze it in as a daily whenever you have like a little bit of time, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's a bit more flexible, but yeah, of course, yeah, you can only do it for that much. And then if you do the 7 runs, then in a week you get 1.33 bill. If you do the max runs, at that point it starts counting, because then it's like 2 bill just Ursus and Maple Tour together, 2 bill a week. That's pretty decent.
Yeah. And then any bossing just adds to that.
Exactly. Crystals, any training adds to that. Yeah.
All right. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Feel a little bit better. Have a mission now.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I'll be seeing you in chat.
Definitely, and I hope that you're. I think maybe not initially, but I think your BA is probably gonna go up by like that extra bill that now, or extra trill that you have to kind of like cheese for now. I think you'll be able to get that extra trill pretty quickly, especially once your secondary and the other stuff gets into place.
I think especially fixing that crit rate in my Legion board.
Crit rate, the extra damage from the roll the dice.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be some good stuff. All right, well, I'm glad it was helpful for you, and best of luck.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. See ya.
Take care.